All right, so I don't know if this one was actually on the list, but I still kind of want to talk
Hmm?
about it. So,
All right.
a while back, I mentioned on the show, and at your confusion, it was about Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Switch
Hmm.
port. I mentioned it, and to your minor confusion, because when I brought it up, you were incredibly confused by the situation. I was like, "Oh, they never put out the DLC that they promised," and you're like, "What? When did that come out? Oh, it came out that long ago." So a little
Well,
back.
to be fair, I never really cared much about the Switch port for that game, so
Fair.
just passed me by.
Fair. I was actually gonna consider getting it because
Hmm.
as much as the first game did put a slightly sour taste in my mouth towards the end of the game, because the end of the
Hmm.
game has that lovely thing that me and you like to call that final dungeon fucking difficulty spike.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not fun. Like I was already having some like minor issues with certain kinds of enemies, but that final dungeon is
Hmm.
a fucking chore.
Hmm.
Holy shit, that is a chore. Okay, so they launch both KOTOR 1 and KOTOR 2. And they tell people, okay, the game's gonna launch and then we're gonna release the restored content DLC pack at a later date.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, around a
at
year later, I
yeah,
think they
yeah.
said originally.
We're gonna release it at a later date,
Hmm.
and that'll fulfill. I need you all to kind of keep in mind the only reason why anyone would have bought the Switch version of KOTOR 2 was for that DLC. That was the reason why. Look, you can be the biggest KOTOR fan in the fucking world.
Hmm.
Nobody was buying the Switch port of this game because they really wanted to play the original version of the game. That was not why they were doing it. They were doing it because it was going to have the
The
restored
additional, the restored
content,
content and
the
fixes and all.
yeah,
Hmm.
all the stuff that the fan made patch and the restored content had added back or just added to the game.
Hmm.
Like let's keep it 100%. That's why people were fucking buying this. No one was
Hmm.
buying it to play KOTOR 2 by itself. I'm sorry. KOTOR 2 is a lot of things. It is not a stone cold classic. I'll tell you that much. Um, so a year goes by, and well, they don't release it, and I pulled it up. So in June of this year, which
Hmm.
actually does sound about right. That sounds about the time when this happened because this was around the
Hmm.
time my health started to
Yeah.
fuck with me more and more.
Mm.
Around June 2nd, they released a tweet that said, "We'd like to thank the KOTOR community for their immense passion and support for Knights of the Old Republic series. That passion has allowed us to bring this timeless series to Nintendo Switch. So I'd say we are announcing that the restored content DLC for the Nintendo Switch version uh, will not be moving forward. We'd like to thank you for your continued support by providing you a video game key to players that purchase the Switch version of the game prior to this announcement." And from that, they were offering uh, Knights of the Old Republic 2, so the Sith Lords on Switch. The first game
On
on
Steam, I
Switch.
think, right?
Yeah, on Steam. On Steam. The first game
Hmm.
on Switch. Force Unleashed on
Hmm.
Switch. Republic Commando on Switch. Episode 1 Racer. Jedi Academy. And Jedi Outcast 2 on Switch.
Hmm. Yeah, you could choose either one of
Yeah,
those.
you could choose those. Okay. Now look, I don't like to be that guy, but
Hmm.
while I appreciate the olive branch, y'all really did miss the fucking point. Like, offering me free shit does not fix the fact that I paid money for this and you did not deliver the thing you promised. Like, Like
Yeah.
I bought this for that one reason. And there's actually a tweet here from Voltar at the top here
Mhm.
for this tweet that sums up exactly what I'm saying. That's completely unacceptable. Many people, including myself, bought this game with the assurance that the DLC would be reconstituted and eventually restored to the game. That's the whole point of buying it again. Elsewise, I'd just stick with my OG Xbox copy. I would have no reason to complain, providing that you didn't go out of your way to include footage from the DLC in the launch trailer of the game. Oh, I did not know that. Oh, oh, that's
Yeah,
grimy. Oh, that's grimy
even
as
worse.
fuck. Oh,
Mhm.
that's mega grimy. Ew.
Yep.
Y'all had trail. Oh, that is grimy. Well, I feel gross now. I'm gonna need a shower after this. Okay, so that's where we are. They did it. They attempted to try to bribe people with free stuff to, you know, satisfy the masses, and they have
I would like to calm the masses.
yeah, and a user wasn't able to receive a refund because it was on Switch, and Nintendo does not give refunds basically ever. It does not happen. You don't get refunds.
Especially not this long after release.
Yeah, you're not getting a refund this long after release. They're not going to give you back your money. Your money now belongs to them. He sought legal action in July 2023, a few weeks after the announcement that the DLC was canceled. The lawsuit alleges that him and other consumers were misled by Asper and Saber's unlawful, unfair, and fraudulent business practices, and that the two companies have been and will continue to be unjustly enriched by the receipt of ill-gotten gains from customers. According to the lawsuit, and other class action members would not have purchased it if not for the misrepresentation of the facts on Asper's part, which is what I've been saying. Nobody bought this to play the original game. Nobody.
Hardly anyone. Yeah.
Nobody.
There might have been
wanted-
one or two, but
Very few people bought this to
Yeah.
play. People bought this because of the additional content.
yep.
So yeah, this was a shit.
To
a
announce
shit
this
deal.
about a year after the version released. That's pretty bad.
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they thought people just would forget. Like a year after though, like that's a really long time. Like, bro, I know people who buy into Kickstarters who get their shit in the mail like a year later and are like, "What the fuck was this?"
Or even later than a year, but yeah, definitely.
Like, it happens. I don't agree with it,
Obviously,
but
yeah.
it does happen. So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that sucks. Asper, y'all fucked up. Like, I don't know. Like, honestly, from what I've read, I feel like Asper was in a real. I feel like Asper and Saber were in this fucked up situation where they took on the project without actually thinking what it was going to take. Right? Like,
Yeah.
on paper, it was probably
Probably.
really easy for them to say, we'll include that stuff. But then they actually started, like, digging into that patch, and they're like, oh, God.
Yeah, that's quite possible.
I mean,
That something in there was too difficult to do.
like
potentially.
that's the really nice read on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The less than nice read is that there's scumbags that tried to rip off the customer base. Take your pick.
The reality
take your
is
pick.
probably somewhere in between.
Yeah, take your pick, ladies and gentlemen. Which one sounds better
Mm-hmm.
to you? All right, CD. Which one do you want to do next? Which one would make you happy?
What's the choices?
Unity.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You got
Because I only planned for the epic layoffs.
yeah, or the epic layoffs.
Additionally,
I guess we could do Epic too. We could do Epic then.
Yep. Let's go with that one.
We will do the Epic then. I mostly pulled the Asper Media one because that one was a personal bugbear of mine that I wanted to talk about.
Makes sense.
I don't tend to hide that I play favorites with stories sometimes on this show. I would never ever hide that.